Mrs. Thatcher used to say, first you win the argument, then you win the election. Today's Tories have not done that. In fact, they've spent the last 12 years making their opponents' arguments for them on everything from net zero to free speech. Boris Johnson is going out clinging to all the eco-twaddle, even though it has cost him his premiership and destroyed his 4-decade ambitions, and is completely at odds with Boris in his pomp, who thought the global warmongering was all codswallop, as he told me over a very convivial lunch in Doughty Street. Now he's swallowed the codswallop.
If you have an old kettle that takes ages to boil, it may cost you £20 to replace it. But if you get a new one, you'll save £10 a year for every year on your £10 a year every year on your electricity bill. And
I'll save £10 a year every year on my electricity bill. Wow, so that will reduce my electricity bill. Let me work this out. From £7,700 to just £7,690, according to the latest predictions of the price. Happy days are here again. I feel like dancing like a Macarena-crazed Londonderry constable. Where do I go to sign up? The result of 12 years of a right-wing party making left-wing arguments is the rubble you see all around, from the laughably misnamed health service to the woke constabulary to next year's 5-figure utility bills to this year's excess mortality. As we said, that's dead bodies piled up with an extra 1,000 a week all spring and all summer long. Liz Truss is going to have to buck a 2-century trend. That's basically the entire Democratic era. Actually, more than that. Liz is going to have to buck that 2-century trend to win her party a 5th victory. And because the Conservatives have spent 12 years making non-conservative arguments, the only alternative is a party that looks at the rubble all around and says, yeah, let's have even more of that. So it's too late to win the argument or even to start making the argument. People's homes, businesses, lives are about to be destroyed. Miss Truss is going to have to fly back from Balmoral, walk into number 10 and act. Bearing in mind that she has no money because all the money for this century has been printed and blown through. Still, there are things that she can do that won't cost any money. Withdraw from the jurisdiction of the European Court on Human Rights. Right now we have an emergency. Up to 1,300, quote, asylum seekers every day, quote unquote, flee France for the UK. That is a fake refugee crisis that insults the actual lawful residents of this country. These refugees are ushered in from French waters by the Royal Navy, the Border Force, the Royal National Lifeboat Institute to the express check-in. And unlike you, they don't have to worry about the price cap. Are you the owner of a pub or a chippy and you're figuring you're going to have to shut up shop because of your energy bills? You know what's a really good business to be in? Water taxis for these Franco-Albanian Sudanese refugees. Aeolian transport, that's on the Isle of Wight. They're making £2 million over 6 months for providing 3 water taxis to ferry so-called asylum seekers from international waters to the priority check-in at the Premier Inn. Why waste time being a publican or a fish fryer? Close up the Rose and Crown, the Georgian Dragon, whatever, and you can get rich ferrying armies of young men onto the shores of England. Like Churchill said, we shall ferry them to the beaches. Liz Truss's proposed Bill of Rights will go nowhere on that, except into bulking up lefty lawyers' retirement accounts. Only withdrawal from the ECHR will do it. If you're in the Bahamas, Kiribati, Mauritius, Trinidad, Brunei, Jamaica, Tuvalu, on and on, your final court of appeal is the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council in London. But if you're in the mother country, your final court of appeal is some Albanian or Azerbaijani judge on the ECHR. It's not difficult, Liz. All the people who will object to you withdrawing from the jurisdiction of Strasbourg already hate you and are working to make you the 4th failed Tory PM in a row. So there's no political price to pay. Just do it. and end those 7-figure private contracts for facilitating the invasion, because even that is an insult. And the big one is this. This winter, people are going to be freezing to death. They're going to freeze to death because of global warming policies. How stupid is that? Put net zero on hold. I know, that sounds ridiculous to many of you. Have you done the right thing and bought an electric car? Here's Kamala Harris pretending she drives one. Look at that. That's fine for a photo op. But after the pictures of her recharging, quote, her car have been taken, she climbs back into her actual limo with its internal combustion engine and gets chauffeured home. If you make the mistake of actually depending on an electric vehicle, Kamala's fellow Democrats in California are now urging you not to charge your car until at least Tuesday of next week because of stresses to the electric grid. What happens if you don't charge your car? Well, it's not really a mode of transportation anymore, is it? It's just an attractive metallic sculpture installed in your no longer needed driveway. By the way, California passed a law prohibiting the sale of gasoline-powered vehicles by 2035. So what size electric grid do you think they'll be needing by then? It's a trick question, because by 2035, private transportation will be only for the rich. The ECHR, net zero, the online crap bill, these are the easy things. If Liz Truss can't do these, then you'll know you're in for the 4th Tory flopperoo in number 10, and Sir Keir and the Ginger Growler can start measuring the curtain.